Yo, what up, everybody? It's a reunion of the original DirtSheet radio crew, the one and only. I'm here with my boys, George, Greg. Introduce yourself in that order, my brothers.
Oh man, it's been a long time. It is George Serrano, aka the Don, and we are here to talk about Bash in Berlin. I cannot wait.
It's Greg. I didn't even respond to the particular invite to this show. I just took the link and I just snuck in the back door like an asshole.
I left the door open. My fault. I should have known better. No, I'm definitely glad you're here.
In the hood. Did you forget what it was like, John?
I know. I got comfortable. I moved out to California. Now I don't lock my door. People don't take your package off the porch. Shit is crazy. Nah, man. I'm glad you guys are here because I want to talk about WWE Bash at Berlin. I had a fun fucking time. We could start right at the main event, actually. Talk about that last match. Gunther versus Randy Orton. Good old Randall Keith Orton. Just to give it a quick little recap. Randy starts this match off by attacking Gunther's arm and giving himself the advantage the whole time. So it creates a dynamic.
Randy hates chops.
He does, and he should. But it creates a dynamic where Randy could have been the heel if the crowd had, got straight Gunther. But they were so fucking happy to see Randy Orton too, and it created this excellent environment, this incredible atmosphere. Randy, excuse me, I have my notes right here. Yeah, he takes out Gunther's arm early on, eliminates Gunther's offense for most of the match. Eventually, Gunther takes control after reversing an RKO into a German suplex in Germany.
I'm telling you,
it had to happen.
They didn't recognize it.
I needed to, and of course,
it should have got a bigger pop.
It should. I don't think they recognize. I don't think the Germans recognize it as the German suplex. I think they just call it a suplex.
Like Chinese food in China. Yeah, that makes sense.
So Randy,
actually, you know what? If I can inject some annoying lore, I think the German suplex is actually a term coined by the Japanese.
You know what? That makes sense. They had the relationship. So
yeah, because I believe the quote German suplex is related to Carl Gotch, the German that went over to Japan and started like New Japan with Inoki and all those guys.
Actually,
you know what I mean? So I think Carl Gotch did it, and because Gotch was who he was, it's the German suplex.
Hello, Randy. Max says it's just a crab in Boston.
I think
that makes sense. I didn't know that at all, Greg. Thank you. This is why we love having him here.
It makes sense. Germany, Japan, the mega powers, right? That's what they called them.
That's what they called them.
I don't think that's what they called them. So at one point, Randy actually does set up a pair of stairs, the whole stairs, and back suplex Gunther onto the table. Now I love this match. Let me get that out of the way. But
I'm sorry to cut you off, but now my brain keeps wondering which one is Germany, Hogan or Savage.
Oh God. Clearly, clearly Hogan. The more the Savage ended up okay. Everybody hates Hogan now.
I guess that's a fair point.
So yeah, I thought it took so long to set up this spot that I expected Gunther to reverse it, and when Randy just dropped him anyway, I was like, oh. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, eventually Randy is able to put Gunther's able to put Randy to sleep. No fucking questions this time. He beat that son of a bitch. They pay respects to each other. I don't think I got that image uploaded, but I did get Gunther dominant over our legend killer Randy. I'm going to give you guys an opportunity to tell us what you thought of this match. George, my friend.
So what I've been thinking has been interesting recently is that it looks like they've been booking Gunther with people that I feel like what best works for that character is people he can bully. And a lot of the people he's been facing lately, when you think of like Randy, you think of Priest and stuff like that. They want to see if he has more tools in his tool belt and what else he can do. I know even he's young to this roster and he's young especially to like Raw and the World Championship in the WWE, but he's closing in on 20 years in the business. His debut's in 2005. He's 37 years old, so he's not necessarily the springest of chicken.
He used to be a big soft boy.
Yeah, he's a bigger doughboy, but this trust that I'm seeing not only from the WWE but symbolically, right? Using the avatar of Randy Orton, one of the longest tenured wrestlers on their roster. The trust that the E has in Gunther has been rewarded over and over again, and allows the moments like this. I wonder if, when we seen this Clash of the Castle stuff with Drew, how true the rumors are that they are looking for big international superstars that can help them open these markets for these bigger pay-per-views.
Yeah.
So they can do basically this all year round. And a question I have for you guys as well is, how do you like this progression? Bashes at beaches, Great American Bashes,
I
and now
actually
it's
thought of
Bash
that.
in Berlin.
When I was doing the hashtags on the social media, I did WWE Bash, and I was like, but haven't they used this before? Because they've had a few bashes. Like, we've had a few bashes. Bad Bash at the Beach, Great American Bash. But it's a bash. Pro wrestling bashes. Pro wrestling always has bashes.
Didn't they ended up just shortening it to the Bash and they removed the Great American?
WWE Bash. Ew.
Yeah.
I don't like to think about that.
Oh,
Yeah.
I feel like they might. It should have been hashtag Great
That's
Bash
crazy.
at a Berlin beach.
That's a crazy stat. Matt just dropped it. 29 years for Randy Orton. I don't think old school wrestlers can claim things like that. But
Most
yeah,
can't.
Greg, what did you think of this main event match?
If I'm honest, there were parts of it where I kind of got like lost in the tempo, mostly just because it was hard to build up any real suspense for me because I had no belief that Randy Orton was coming out of this on the other side. So a lot of it just sort of became this somewhat. I don't want to say I don't want to use the word unique too much, but like sort of an interesting performance in the sense that the German crowd really just kind of brought a different energy to it, and Randy doing the right thing to just like lean the fuck into it, did a lot of favors for them. I think he went with the Rave at one point, and they just like lost their shit.
Yeah, they did.
We all want to be acknowledged all over the world, us fans.
Yeah. So like I kind of just I think I just found myself appreciating that the Randy Orton was able to make the energy something they could lean into instead of work against. But at the same time, like I'm just kind of waiting for the L.
Yeah, I think.
And how long Gunther is going to sort of work either on the bottom or on top before we get to that end.
I think there was a feeling, well, at least for me, when I saw the card before the show started, it was a pretty predictable card. I think I even picked a wrong match or wrong prediction just to see if something weird happened tonight. But everything happened exactly the way he thought it would. So I came into the show.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at the performances. That's what I was here for. I was like, I'm here for I had to get myself in the mindset before the show started. So I think by the main event, I had done so much of that already.
Yeah, I would actually argue that. I would actually argue that the both of us, to some degree, based every match on here by what we think the Bad Blood booking is.
Yeah,
because that's the show they've been advertising for 4 months.
Yeah, absolutely. This kind of felt like a stopgap to Bad Blood in a way. So if there's people, because I have some of my friends that are like, "What? You think this shit was good? This was mid. That's a bad take." And I was like, "I don't know. Like the crowd was hot. The matches were not bad. The environment was cool. I really liked this show. I thought it was a fun little stopgap, if you will. But it did feel like one. So I can understand if you didn't like it because of that.
Energy does a lot, man. I remember. I'm gonna take it real back. I remember in a CZW show seeing Trent Acid versus Teddy Hart. On paper, these are not guys where you think this is gonna be a fantastic match, but it was my first. Yes, sir. It was my first experience with the dueling chants, and they were passionate about that little like Teddy Hart as this upstart, disrespectful outsider, and Trent Acid, who had sort of become the heart of soul of CZW at that point to some degree, because he was like the Homestead guy. and the energy makes the match so much better than what it actually is. I'm not a big fan of people who say you get the real match and you turn the sound off, because I think that's stupid. But
it's missing a piece.
Yeah, exactly. But it does tell you that a crowd can elevate a match to something a little bigger than what it might actually be as well.
For sure. But one thing I wanted to say about Randy Orton in particular with this main event.
Yes, sir.
I thought this was a masterclass performance from him, and not just because of well, excuse me, my dog is angry at something. I can't tell what's behind.
Big Gunther fan.
No, it was partly what you mentioned with the crowd work, but just overall control of every single aspect of this main. Everything, whatever he wanted to happen, whatever he wanted to express, whatever he needed you to think, he had absolute control of. And it was like, I don't know what happened tonight. I don't know what. I love Randy Orton. I've been a Randy Orton fan. I used to love Randy. I remember when it was Randy and Cena, and they were like the contemporaries. I was always like, Randy Orton's better than fucking Cena. Because Cena goes on to have a much larger career, but it is what it is.
And in a lot of ways, technically, Randy has always been.
I thought. Yeah. But tonight, I just saw him out there, and something about this performance, just like I said, the match, they already crafted the match so that he can work as a heel in case the crowd is 100% Gunther. But then when that didn't happen, they were still in entire control of the situation. Like, they still made it so that not only was Randy, because Randy came in as the babyface, like in the context of the whole thing, Randy's the babyface. In the context of the way he's been booked
for the American audiences,
right? But it still allowed for Gunther to work from under and fucking get the crowd with him, even though Randy was able to do all his shit, and he wasn't like doing it like a heel. He was doing it like a face and working a heel match. It's fucking masterful, bro.
It's so weird because I feel like, Randy always had great execution and great instincts, right? Like, that's one of the things every person has said about him who's been in the ring with him or has watched him since his debut. And I feel like we're watching a combination of an extremely seasoned, extremely talented veteran who can probably do this blindfolded. And something that I hope he doesn't get offended by, but a motivated Randy Orton. He wants to be there, and he wants to be in the ring. And he really seemed afraid after that last back injury that he got, whether or not he would ever be able to do this again. And I can't help but feel that there's almost gratitude oozing from this man since that return. It's been one of the reasons why it's been so easy to fold back into the babyface realm, because I think he honestly does, for the first time, understand. He made money, and he was great at everything he's ever done: promos, stables, in-ring work. But now it's all kind of clicked in a way of like he's ready to give back to a sport that's given him so much, and he's going to do it with a smile. And that's something you usually don't see with Randy. You've seen him smile more since he's been back off of this injury than probably his entire career.
I think 100%. Sometimes so good it almost worked against him.
Yeah. Often you can kind of go on autopilot at that point, right? If you're so good at your job, and your dad kind of maybe got it for you. So there's no real reason that you have to, kind of get a fire lit under your ass. But he seems motivated by and not threatened by the new class of superstars that are out there. Think about it. You were just saying 29 years in the business. What other superstar can say that wasn't trying to cut people's throats and,
hold on,
get at people's ankles? 30 years.
I have a whole conversation about that I want to have soon, but with the longevity of today's wrestlers and just the difference in how they were doing it back then. And we'll get there, because everybody's having crazy ass long careers. Like you just keep thinking about Stone Cold's fucking 5 years, and now
I say that all the time. The Attitude Era was like 4 years, 5 years maximum, depending on where people think it ended.
And that's that was Roman's one reign. Yeah. That's the kind of shit. But anyway,
I actually think I saw a tweet about that. Roman's reign outlasted the entire Attitude Era.
a little bit.
That's great. That's great.
Just to move on.
I also want to say this to your point. Also, when you say how long people have lasted, it's also kind of rare because of the way the industry has gone. That very rarely have people who lasted that long been in the same place the entire time.
Yeah, that's why it was crazy to see that stat that Randy will end up he'll end this contract having 30 years in the WWE.
Yeah,
Active for 28 of them. But
it's like
yeah,
top guy for 27, maybe.
That's insane. Did you guys have any final thoughts on this match before we whip it to the beginning of the show?
It's I have a question that is actually going to go into the next match. It's funny how these world championship matches are going to be bookended this way. But what do you guys think about WWE's recent ability, or in my opinion, inability to build credible challengers for their world champions lately? I feel like while they found a way to get the Kevin Owens and Cody story out there, and obviously this thing with Randy and Gunther, they may have set it up that one time. I don't know. It might have been a cover up, but I just feel like they're missing something there. Well, they're clicking on other cylinders, and it's hard to balance all these plates. But with this Gunther match and then the Cody match, who do you think has been kind of getting better opponents, better stories?
I think this is a side effect of some of that long-term booking. In particular, it's that you kind of know what the destination is, or what you think they're gonna make it be, just based on the trajectory of the things that they've done. With Cody Rhodes, you're waiting for The Rock to come back, right?
Yeah,
you're waiting for Roman to get involved. You don't think he's gonna drop the belt to anybody in between that, and to a degree, that energy is only ever supposed to exist in that 1 month after the first title win, where it's like, he just won the belt. He's not going to lose that thing right now. Yeah. So you get Gunther, who's in that first offense, and Cody, who's got that energy just dragging along with him. And then you got a duper of matches where you just know the world champion is going to retain. I don't know the thing with Gunther now is that he's such a beast that you're not going to expect him to lose to anybody. I don't know who's going to be a credible challenger to Gunther of all people. It's going to be they're going to be two dominant world champions, and that's why I kind of was a proponent for Cody dropping the belt to like a heel to some bullshit and then winning it back a month later, just because you wouldn't expect it. But
the Cena special, as it were.
Yeah, drop it to Edge and then get it back at the Royal Rumble type thing.
Oh no, the vile heel done stole the championship from me.
That son of a bitch.
Gets it right.
Here, RVD, hold this down for a couple weeks.
Oh, he fucked that up.
Well, he did that himself.
So, whipping back to the beginning of this pay-per-view, WWE Bash at Berlin opened up with Cody Rhodes versus Kevin Owens for the WWE Championship, right? I don't know what they call it anymore.
You can say WWE and World. You can get away with that.
But great shot here of Cody.
WWE Undisputed.
I think that I actually enjoyed this match a lot, man. They went out there, Cody. Excuse me, let me pull up my notes. The basic story of this match is that Kevin Owens has lost his edge, which is crazy that that's what we're doing here, because that means that maybe we're going to be building towards a better Kevin Owens, one that doesn't use the stunner, one that just kind of is like a beast again, a prize fighter. But Cody Rhodes' knee eventually does gives out. He hit it for like.
Do you think Kevin is a lesser guy just to have to stunner?
I think the stunner sucks as a finisher for him. He comes off like a fucking fanboy. Like, you had a finisher, it was very. I don't know if it was successful. They say he hasn't won a title in 7 years. So, like, the stunner.
And that was because of Triple H.
The stunner doesn't work either. It's not yours. You didn't master that. But anyway, I thought it was funny because they do the whole match and the knee thing wasn't happening. And I was like, so what the fuck did we do the knee thing for? But it does show up at the end. Cody's knee gives out. Kevin Owens won't go after it. He does hit it one time, but he won't follow up. He won't do a powerbomb on the apron. Cody eventually takes advantage of that shit. But he kills Kevin Owens with a final crossroads and retains his title. And then Owens hugs him, but they showed him in the camera looking distant and formulating some evil stuff. before he shoves the camera on his face because he realized that it was looking at him. Fellas, what did you think of this match, this performance? I'll let Greg go first because I guess I asked George first last time.
Full transparency, I did wake up sort of in the middle of this match, and I think I remember I work overnights, fellas. I got home at like 9 in the morning and went straight to bed. I woke up when I woke up. So I remember just telling all the people who were just going like, like my eyes still kind of blurry, just going, is that fucking Cody already?
Yeah.
I pretty much got to the match in the middle of the Kevin Owens doesn't want to take the quote cheap or easy route. So
you didn't miss the basis of it. Like that's really all
I caught the meat of the story. Kevin doesn't want to take out the knee because the knee seems too easy. He doesn't want to do the power bomb because I guess it's too devastating, or it's the old Kevin Owens. I saw that on TV last week. I didn't really understand the whole old Kevin Owens thing because did he stop doing the power bomb because he's a nice guy now?
I feel like he uses it as a transitional move, but he doesn't do the apron one anymore. I haven't noticed.
It was the apron one. It was for the most part, yeah. He had been using it. He just like it was a big deal that I think maybe to Waller or Theory or one of those guys when they tagged that he brought it back and people were like, oh, maybe this is going to be a thing. But it was the apron one in particular that they were saying that only a heel or a more vicious Kevin Owens, someone who would do that to their own friend, as he did, one famously would do that to Cody.
Right, and like that's sort of one of those those interesting things. Like we just got out of that sort of angle with Will Ospreay, where I was just like, guys, it's wrestling. Do the move. Stop it.
Yeah,
kill him. Yeah. Kill him. Your job is to hurt people.
Like to some degree, yeah, man. It's weird. It doesn't help that like the powerbomb hasn't been the sort of like a guy is out for 4 weeks thing like it was. Right. So I'm just like, whatever, do the powerbomb. Shut up.
It's the apron, Greg. He could break his spine, bro. What's up with you, man? That's malicious.
Because they've treated the apron that way so many times.
It's the hardest part of the ring, I've heard.
Yeah, so we're told. I was surprised that he kicked out of 2 stunners.
well, Kevin kicked out of 2 crossroads.
Fair. I know how Austin is about that stunner, and I know how Kevin is about Austin. I'm surprised. I was a little surprised we went that road.
Well, ultimately, it just means that Austin's is better.
Yeah,
stronger.
Yes.
It's an actual finisher.
Not as bad as AJ's. Not as bad as AJ's burning hammer. That doesn't work at all. Just completely effectiveness.
Fair point.
The Miz won the title with a figure 4.
Figure 4.
That said, the last person who kicked out of multiple stunners that I remember was Kurt Angle, and Kurt and Cody are both powered by the flag. So,
America, baby.
America. George, what did you think of this match?
It's funny because it's almost kind of similar, like we were saying with the Gunther match, where Kevin Owens has become such a consummate professional, and he is literally a Swiss Army knife for this company. And the person who actually sees that value in him finally runs the entire show now. So he's getting these opportunities, and I love to see Kevin work. And this is the kind of chemistry you get between 2 people who are friends, who know each other, who have the same kind of ideas of what a wrestling match can be. So it's cool to see that chemistry out there. It's interesting because, again, all this longevity is deceptive. I just looked it up, and in December, Kevin makes 10 years with the company.
That's crazy.
Bonkers, right? I wouldn't have thought we're coming up on his 10-year anniversary. So he's sliding himself also into this veteran mode where can I be used? Where can I be the most effective? Maybe because Triple H is in charge now, we will be getting the kind of Kevin Owens that would run roughshod throughout the show. But that to me is a lot of what that Kevin Owens character was in NXT that made him so popular in the first place, was this idea that he can call himself a prize fighter because he will whoop you. And I felt like for a very long time, with the ceilings of Roman on occasion, Brock, right? These Cena and Orton was still in there, mixing it up. Owens was never really able to have that mean streak in him that I know he could probably produce now. So if this is the first breadcrumbs to that kind of story, the future just looks bright. And he just signed, right? Just signed a deal.
No,
he hasn't signed.
He's actually at the end of his deal, and he has not signed one yet. It's up in the beginning of 2025.
He hasn't re-signed yet.
But
well, maybe 10 years is a good time to,
maybe.
Right?
I think that personally, I think he feels indebted to the WWE for all they've done for him, and I know that he grew up a big fan of WWE, in particular. Like Kevin Owens is the fucking WWE fan through and through. That motherfucker loves Stone Cold Steve Austin. Learned how to speak English listening to Jim Ross. He
also loves Owen Hart.
Loves Owen Hart. Named his son after Owen Hart. I don't foresee him.
He won't be in the Owen, bro. You don't want him in the Owen. He wouldn't do the Owen. His son is named Owen.
Personally, I think he's done everything. I think he's literally done every possible thing. I think he fucking had a main event at WrestleMania with Stone Cold Steve Austin. Like, there's nothing else you can do.
They let him punk John Cena.
Hey, yeah. And his first night. Not on his first night. Like, that's a great career. I think it's time to go see other things and then come back and you know how that goes. It's a new world. You can come back later if you want. He's getting very old, though. He did mention, like, he doesn't see himself doing another 10 years. He probably sees more like 5 more.
Yeah. I think that's also
that beard.
Yeah, there is. I think that's also a very interesting thing that happens with guys like Owens and all that, where you've put in an amount of time and you start going, there's a lot less for me ahead than there was back behind me. The longer you stay there, the less likely you kind of still end up with a spot on top, especially you just are one of the vets,
right?
That you can plug into anything, and even so, the downside of being one of the vets is always just like you are a dependable, easy fill-in for a lot of things.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
One last thing I wanted to say that just occurred to me is whether it's perception or whether it's deception. This idea of going around the world and going to these starved crowds, these international crowds, has allowed Cody Rhodes to stay at a level where the fatigue is not evident at these events. We've been on the internet. I see what people are saying about Mr. Rhodes and his, him as champion. And I think that it is good to keep showing him in front of these large crowds that are still incredibly invested in him, because I don't think he's doing anything wrong. I think sometimes things can drag a bit, and like we were just saying, if you know where this is eventually going to lead, it becomes very hard to. It reminds me of Rock and Cena, right, where they said it was going to happen a year later. I'm like, I know who's going to win. Okay, so some homeboy won the title, so I know who's going to win the Rumble, kind of stuff. But Cody's not doing anything wrong, in my opinion. So I like that they're still keeping the faith in all this presentation and how they've been putting him out there.
I think American crowds, live crowds anyway, I think they still love him just as much. You still hear the raw fucking roaring crowds. I don't think he's as, like we'll talk about later tonight, over as, like, I think he's like the second most over thing in the company right now, which is because when Roman was champion, he was like the top. Nothing was more over than the bloodline. But we're today, he's kind of sitting second to what's going on with Liv Morgan and Dom and Rhea and Damian, and you heard that fucking crowd for them. But we'll talk about that in a little bit. But
we said the two most important championships in the company right now are the bracelet and the Ulafala.
That's right. Roman's, and people are slowly just kind of waiting for Roman to come back too. Though the longer he's gone from TV, it falls from people's minds until he comes back, and then it'll feel important again.
Before we do move on, so we're still technically on the Cody conversation. Did you see any of the post show?
No, I was setting this thing up.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
So Cody was sitting in for Hunter because Hunter went home. His daughter's going off to college, and he went to go have that moment with his family. So Cody was sitting in as the Hunter guy for a little bit. And all I could think was just like, yes, politician Cody campaigning and practicing for his future inside the company. And then,
Hey, he
of
can put it on
course,
his resume. He has past experience.
yes. And then, of course, as if they knew the energy in that room, one of the fucking German guys immediately asked him about the goddamn Vince documentary.
I was talking to George about that before the show went on the air.
Yeah.
That's
It's
Like, oh man, they and
he mumbled his way through an answer.
yeah, German dude asked him twice if he believes her, and he's like, I don't have the information.
Do you believe? Do you believe her? That's a crazy question to ask.
That was the first time I heard the R word said on WWE television, probably since Vince said it at the threat to the Undertaker.
Come on out!
Oh yeah, that too. Full circle.
Yeah.
Way to go, baby.
Crazy. No, I don't blame them for asking the question. I just think it's crazy to hear it.
Yeah.
I'll never. Somebody's got to ask it. Somebody's got to ask it. It's just the nature of. You can't blame them. You got to blame Vince. If there was no question to ask, they wouldn't have to ask
until the German media.
Yeah. And then, if there was no question to ask, they wouldn't ask it. Unfortunately, that question exists, so you can't get mad at them for doing what they do. That being said, I also don't get mad at the people who don't ask. People get mad at them for not asking.
They don't know past Vince. They don't know who to hold accountable.
Yeah, you're just
they don't know. Someone has to be punished for this, but is it Cody? Is it the wrestlers on the roster?
I just work here.
Out? Who's
I
supposed
just work
to?
Here.
Right.
I just 100%. Work here.
So everyone's like, who's supposed to take the brunt of this? And I guess it's because of this belief that maybe more people knew than let on. And
so I get in the ring and do what I'm told, brother.
Yeah. So. The next match was Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair versus the Unholy Union. I don't want to say mean things. I thought this was an awkward match for me personally. There was a lot of slow movement and some confusion. I thought everyone in the ring looked nice. They were all very pretty and they had nice makeup on. Jade in particular looked like Senku from Dr. Stone. I don't know if she knows that, but Senku looks like a leak, which means Jade also looks like a leak. The what is it? A vegetable? It might be a vegetable. I'm not sure.
I thought isn't that the sneaky leak? Isn't that a thing?
A leak? No, I think a link. One thing I'll say. Listen, man, Jade. She looks like she stepped out of a goddamn comic book. It's insane. This is not a real person. This is literally AI. Get the fuck out of here. No way. That's not even fair that people can look like that. And they don't tell you that when you're a child so that you can strive for it. They let you get fat first. And then they show you these things exist. And they're like, oh, yeah, you could have been that. Fuck you. It's too late.
It's one of those interesting things where it's I think Bianca Belair is probably literally the fittest woman in the company. But you look at Jade Cargill, you just go, my God, that is some sculpting.
Yeah.
Literally out of stone. It's fucking crazy. But that's just me stalling, trying not to insult these women based on their performance tonight. I think that it was interesting that they gave the belts right back to Jade and Bianca, which makes it really transparent that Unholy Union only won the belts because they were at Clash of the Castle when they needed a feel good for them because none of the other Scots were gonna win. Okay.
I also just kind of saw it as an extension of what's obviously going to be the Jade versus Bianca program.
Killing me with how long this thing is taking. Almost feels like we're punishing Jade.
This is why I said I think this is good a WrestleMania program.
I've said it before. I think in response to one of the other matches, that match where she had tried to do the springboard thing and it didn't really work. We're in a rough position because she's only going to get better with reps, and they don't want to put her out in front of people to mess up, and that's a very counterproductive sort of strategy. And the thing is, and I'm gonna take a lot of heat for saying this, but she has aura. She can she can get around the moves. I'm sorry. I know a million people who got the moves and got no aura. You understand? So it's like she is a superstar. We just got to find her. You know, I don't think she should be out there hurting people or hurting herself. But like, I have a little bit more patience than other people do. My only frustration, I say again, is how is she supposed to get better without being, wrestling more matches?
She shouldn't have come here. It was too soon. 3 more years, man. She saw the stardom, she saw the lights, and she was like, "Yeah, this is the opportunity." And they're gonna make her work for it. They're like, they don't see what everybody else saw, and they want to get to that. When if she had done 3 more years in AEW, they would have given it to her, and then WWE would have had no choice but to use her that way. And she jumped too soon. She could have went to AEW. I mean, she could have went to WWE with full push, like it's full on everything, because they like to take the momentum that you have there and use it. If you're not Ethan Page, but Ethan Page ain't had no fucking momentum. They gave him, like Cody. When Cody came over, they warped him right over. They want to bring over the Lucha Bros. They want to use people that are established, but Jade wasn't quite there yet. Even in AEW, even though she was a big deal, she was in the mid card. She was the mid card champion.
I felt like they marketed her like she was.
They were getting there. They should have given it a little fucking more. Just this long. 3 more years.
Like the way they announced her signing out like immediately. And
WWE. Yeah. I feel like maybe it feels like maybe they signed her based off of how AEW was presenting her, and they got worked. Like
I was gonna say, like maybe like maybe they signed her off like the Mark Henry sell before they saw it.
They were like, oh.
And I also think it could be a thing like we were just saying, where they're like, how bad could it be? And then they're like,
she wasn't ready. You took a pizza out the oven and it was like still fucking.
And you're chewing and smiling because
Cook is looking at you smiling like I wasn't done. But go ahead.
This is how I wanted it. We wanted it this way.
We were about to sign Gronk. We could do this.
Cain Velasquez. That's what I'm saying, man. We went to some dark places. Jade, it ain't over for Jade yet. I ain't giving up on Jade yet. But another thing, like, I think of like wrestlers like Charlotte, Becky, who right now is on a hiatus, or who knows where her future lies, right? But
one's on hiatus and one's injured.
Yeah, again with this whole idea of longevity, right? The Bianca's now coming into her own as somebody who can kind of show Jade the ropes. I think that's very surprising. Rhea is a main eventer in that company. Only having being in there a couple of years. I wonder if we're kind of eclipsing. This is legitimately some of the longest time women have ever been contracted to the E in general. When you think of like the Baileys, and Charlotte and stuff like that. I wonder if we are coming to an end of that sort of era, and now we're coming into this new era where with the Jades and the Biancas, Rhea, Liv, Io, and moving forward.
I do think one of those has actually been there a long time.
Yeah. I think you will see that shift slowly. I mean, look at Tiffany Stratton. People like that are going to be the main faces moving forward. But I believe Jade is going to be okay. I just hope they don't give up on her. Is my thing. They like to give up.
I think they might every week, and then she shows up, and they're like, write the Jade segment in, write the segment in, write her in. Just look at her.
Just kind of hoping that her plan was delayed.
It's like every after every match, Hunter's just like, I don't know, and then he sees it, it's just like, God damn.
Yeah, how can I not book this woman? Put her on.
He's like, sorry, Hunter. Did you like that shit or? Yeah, fuck yeah, I'm so hype. You get me so hype. I'm fucking lifting weights right now.
Well, I mean, you talk about lack of faith. Are we gonna see the Unholy Union disappear for a bit?
Yes. No, a bit. Bro, they weren't on TV before they were champions. And then they became champions and they were obligated to be on TV. And now that they don't have the belts, right back off, which is a shame because I really like watching Isla Dawn.
Who do they have other than? And we know you do. Who do they have other than Chelsea and Piper?
The other jobber team of Lorray and Indy Hartwell that they beat into oblivion.
Oh, that's right, the way team
and the dancers.
The way. Oh, the club girls.
Oh yes, Caden and Casey. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's my club.
That's
what I do at the club.
Yeah, there you
go. So a match that I did enjoy very much, the strap match. Michael Cole kept saying 13 feet long leather strap. And I'm like, why is he making me so uncomfortable on purpose? Like, that's unnecessary. 13-foot long leather strap. I was like, okay, he really likes that shit. See, Max says Alba Fire shade for me. No, it's not shade towards Alba Fire. I think
Did you dig Kylie Ray?
I liked Kylie Ray. She was champion. She had good matches with Toni Storm. They didn't really do shit with her in NXT. She dropped the belt and they were like, thanks for that. We needed that piece of hardware.
Or Mandy Rose, right? Oh no, they gave it to Meiko.
They gave it to Meiko, and you can go. We don't need you.
I didn't see a ton of her stuff, but I just remember like it's actually very funny. Most of my experience with Kylie Ray was from the fucking video game, so because I wasn't really watching NXT UK like that, and I just keep wondering like, why does she do this weird side to side thing?
She's a crab, like Claudio and Yuta do the crab.
They changed her name to Alba Fire, and then they just started showing promos where she was like a pyromaniac.
That's right. I forgot that happened. Alba Fire, and I really like fire. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that happened really suddenly, didn't it?
It did, but it just as quickly disappeared.
It's like an unhinged
and then they put it with the snow girl, and I was just like, oh great, the tag team is freaking Pat Benatar.
Yeah, that was the whole thing, right? She was slower than her. I like it here. Anyway, the strap match: Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk. Straps are always so weird to wrestle with, but they made it work. They just kept gathering it together and whipping each other so that it wouldn't get lost and they don't fucking trip over it. Good stuff.
So painful.
Drew McIntyre takes out Punk early on. In case you weren't aware, this is the lame version of it where you have to touch all four corners of the ring. So they McIntyre takes advantage before Punk.
Why can't I just beat a man till I pin him?
That's the way I like it. It's so weird. This is a fight. I hate you.
With 13 feet of strap, you could tie a man's ankles together and calmly walk to each corner.
Right.
and tap the thing. So it's. I'd rather it be more, either pin, knockout, submission, something a bit more, But I think it's for the crowd participation.
Slightly off topic. This has always been my gripe with the modern cage matches, where like they build the cage match as a blood feud, but because of the rules, the arbitrary rules of the cage match, it becomes two men running away from each other.
Yeah.
That's why I like cage matches with pinfalls, damn it. But yeah, so Punk actually hits a GTS early on, and he could have won like 2 minutes into the match, but he decides he doesn't want to. He wants to keep on fighting. The ball outside, Punk gets busted open, which actually looked like a blade job to me. I don't know about you guys.
He got caught at the Rumble meeting?
They said it was.
We don't do that here no more.
They said it was. They said it was the headbutt.
Like half the way.
They said it was the headbutt, and I was like, it's not the headbutt. Because look, when he was holding him, this is how it was dripping out.
Yeah, like a straight line.
That looked like.
Yeah,
that looked like
what a cut looks like.
I'm saying I know what it looks like when somebody runs the blade. Damn it! And he got the all in gear on. Like that's the last time he ran the blade. Anyway,
no, but what's funny is that he wore that, but he has wrestled since then. But he knew he was winning this one, so he wore it after the last time he wore that gear. He beat Samoa Joe. So this is a winning attire for Mr. CM Punk. Yeah. Be on the lookout if you ever see him rock this attire.
It's bleeding attire. He wore this shit so that he could bleed in the Joe match.
That's what I thought. MJF maybe even too. We had the Long Boys with MJF.
Yeah, listen, I know what I'm saying.
An unexpected incident, John.
Do you think that maybe because they're out, because when they're international, they can do different things, like Logan Paul with the drone shot.
Yeah.
But who was it also that played it? Cody, right? Didn't Cody play in an international show like fucking recently? And we were all like, look, he's living the dream. Like, wasn't it an international pay-per-view as well?
I believe so. Let me see what I can find.
It's not like it's illegal. AEW does it all the time on American soil.
Yeah,
it's just interesting that they only seem to do it on international pay-per-views. European, Japanese,
Middle
depends.
Eastern.
Or Middle Eastern. That's right. But yeah, fellas, what did you? Well, I guess the match ends after Punk is able to hit Drew McIntyre with a GTS before Drew can hit his fourth corner. He hits a fucking corner. He hits another GPS. He hits a corner. He hits another GTS. After the third one, he finally takes his bracelet back, taps the fourth corner, and he wins his first televised WWE match in 10 years. That's a different graphic.
There he goes.
I want to be annoying and point out the very beginning of the match where Michael Cole is trying to sort of explain the rules as it happens, and then somebody won't turn the goddamn light off. He's just like, fucking with me. Stop it.
I think the element that Wade Barrett and Michael Cole have been adding to this feud has been incredibly entertaining. As Wade has been just taking Drew's side, and obviously that's part of Drew's enigma right now as a character, is this idea that he is justified in most of the stuff that he says. So it's really cool to just have I miss that sort of vitriol between commentators where it's like, you're obviously sticking up for a bad person and both people think that.
He's like, that's my friend though. That's like his friend. That's like my personal friend. Like, we are very good friends. Also, this bracelet, dick and balls. So all dick and balls. What is CM Punk doing? What is he doing? Why would he do that? That's disgusting.
I was very amused at the part where like Wade Barrett was taking some chances out there, just basically going like, I don't fucking like dogs.
And like, your ugly little shit too.
He's like, you had a dog going. That wasn't my dog. I don't like dogs.
So it's quite obvious we're not going to be using Phil every Monday night, right? He's of that age, and we know of his body and his
he's of that age, right?
He's been getting injured lately, and he's also somebody they're highly paid, so they want to use him well. And I think that this Drew situation has been a miracle, kind of, because I don't know, and they still have Seth, right? They still have the stuff with Seth whenever they figure out when they want to do that, if they want to do that.
If they're ever able to blow Seth back up to normal size.
It's crazy what it is. This leg don't work.
I think that it's another interesting chapter in this feud. This match is. I thought it was really entertaining. Drew continues to get better in this role, and I think Punk does well in this role. I'm not saying he's exceeding. I have yet to see a performance of his that's been obviously knocked down, drag out. I don't know when or if it's coming, but you got to believe we're heading into the final act of this feud. And I would also like to say that on the post show, which is not necessarily the scrum that they do, he went on to say that this is the end of the rivalry, which obviously makes no sense because there was one. He says this is the end of the rivalry. He's done with Drew. He's ready to move on, and that he wants the championship. That's the next thing that he wants. That's the next goal. And obviously, this entire feud revolves around screwing each other over in championship matches or opportunities or tournaments, etc. and so forth. So I suspect CM Punk might be granted a match with Gunther sometime soon, only for Drew to screw him, which, to be honest, a win over Punk is a cool notch in Gunther's belt.
Especially if he's going to lose to John Cena. I don't know. I just got that feeling in my balls.
Really?
I got it. I got that feeling in my balls. I
You
can
think
feel
they're
it.
gonna give John Cena that last world championship?
I do, and I think it's gonna be over Gunther. I do.
The only way it happens, bro, and this is how you know when the tank comes out at WrestleMania. If the tank comes out at WrestleMania.
Damn.
I want to say too. I thought this for fucking when there was a report that Gunther versus Cena was penciled in, and I was like, why did they pencil that in immediately, right? Why was that one of the first matches that got penciled in? It's because it's the WrestleMania match. At least that's how I see. I think that's gonna be Cena's WrestleMania match, and he's not retiring at WrestleMania. He's retiring in December, so they're gonna give him the WrestleMania win. And why not? Honestly, why not give him the 17th World Championship win at WrestleMania in 2025? Over Gunther though is painful. I don't really. I was like, oh no, like wait a minute, I've asked for too much. Wait, stop.
But it's a double-edged sword, right? Because ultimately, and I think this is the big thing that I even forget. Heels are made to be beaten. That's their entire role in this story. And if he makes it to Mania with the belt, that's a pretty good reign. It's a pretty good run as champion. I rather him be champion for 5 years straight, maybe even beat Roman's record. I don't even care. But obviously, like I do wonder if they ever do. Like I said, if there's an end game for the Gunther ring, and Cena could be it.
Is WrestleMania in May next year?
It's in late April. It's the same weekend as Star Wars Celebration. You sons of bitches.
I'm sorry for you.
Motherfuckers.
That's like 8 to 9 months. Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, also, it tells this funny story where nobody on the roster can beat Gunther except for a legend from the past. Like this ghost.
That was my concern about that one. Yeah.
But honestly, nobody on the roster can beat Gunther anyway. So what the fuck does it matter? He's Gunther. He's actually
That's
Gunther.
Not true. Sami Zayn did it.
He did it by luck. Gunther was acting like a fool.
And one other person did it. I want Dragunov and Gunther on the main stage, baby. Come on.
They had him doing dark matches together.
House shows.
House show matches.
One of the last great baby faces in Ilya Dragunov, who actually can get people into every one of his matches.
26. WrestleMania 2026 is when you can do that, because I damn sure know that they're giving it to John. I feel it. I don't know. I just feel it. I'm telling you. Look, Max says a fake ring coming back to be the fake. I'm just saying, Gunther seems like he likes art.
I feel like tweet John. Oh man, I want Gunther and Cody before Gunther and Cena.
That'd be a Survivor Series match you could do. That'd be very sick, actually. But if they still have that element, I don't think that exists in Survivor Series anymore, right?
That's one of those matches that in the old days definitely goes to 60. Like the two champions fight to a draw.
If WWE had the balls,
that would be amazing. Well, remember they gave those guys a good chunky 15-20 in the Rumble.
That's 15-20 though.
No, I'm saying in a Rumble match to give those guys after the match. It reminds me of the Taker and Shawn thing. Remember they tested out giving them a stretch of time in the Rumble, and then people ate it all up. People ate it all up, and they were like, "Oh, okay, so this can draw." So testing that out between Gunther and Cody for Cody's win, I think that's right there whenever they want it.
He should just immediately after he loses the belt to Cena, he should show up on SmackDown. I want that shit now. You know what? I'm not even thinking about this goofball in the hat.
Don't worry, bro. There'll be a draft next week. We'll have a draft next week. Don't worry. They'll just make one.
So you don't have faith that a Seth Rollins can put down the ring,
Yeah, Seth Rollins can't even stand up. He can put anybody down. He can put any fucking body down.
Perpetually limping since the beginning of the year, bro. Since the beginning of the year, he's been perpetually limping.
So we should keep Gunther away from Roman Reigns then.
Someday. It should happen. But we followed that matchup with the Terror Twins.
George is like, no day. Never day.
No, I like that.
I'm fair.
George doesn't want to put his two favorites against each other. He just sit there silently clapping.
What happens when Gunther chops Roman for the first time and the one veneer falls out?
But you see how less disrespectful Gunther was to Randy than he was to some of the other people he's been chopping?
He did give him a hug. I mean, he gave him a handshake too at the end.
You know, because he would have given the Machine Gun Kelly treatment backstage.
I told him, "Fuck you!" Right? What I said.
I appreciate Damian. He just fought back.
Yeah, fuck that.
So the Terror Twins, Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest defeat
against Street Trash.
Trash. Why was that even considered? These people are crazy. Let me just say that this gave me how do I say? Not like, you know, like sometimes you do not like the Attitude Era, but like kind of the Attitude Era, Ruthless Aggression Era. Sometimes those B pay-per-views, you'd have like giant ass main eventers doing these. Honestly, these used to be Raw matches. These used to be really big Raw matches, and they would be over as fuck, like pay-per-view, and it felt like a pay-per-view. Like, wow, this is a big deal. This is a big match. They holding them for pay-per-views now, so it kind of makes it feel a little less. But in this feud with these people in the ring, this crowd was on fucking fire for this. They were they were at a fever pitch for anything that happened. Essentially, Liv and Dom try all of their tricks, all the different things that they always try to do, but they don't work this time. Even the Judgment Day comes on down, and they get their ass beat. And eventually, you see Damian Priest over there behind a DirtSheet Radio logo. He takes Dominic out on the table. Cool spot, actually. Dominic is running up to him for like a spear or something, and he just clotheslined the dog shit out of him. Over those
There's not many things I can say I've seen for the first time. I've never seen a lariat on a table.
Right? So yeah, they take out Judgment Day, they take out Dom and Liv, and they get a clean victory over the Judgment Day. I thought that this was just, it wasn't even like, it was like, you know, earlier in the night we had like Cody and Kevin Owens. That was like easy 4.5 stars, like incredible. Randy and Gunther later on, a good wrestling match. This was not like that. It was just as enjoyable because of the atmosphere, because of the emotional attachment everybody has to the story of Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley. It felt like peak WWE television is what this was. George, what did you think of this?
I thought it was really good. It goes back to what GT was talking about with the whole the crowd environment and the crowd energy, bringing a lot into this and it carrying a lot of the day. You talk about like the Attitude Era stuff. Like, you remember that weird storyline about Christian and Jericho and making a bet of Trish and Lita?
Yes.
Ruthless aggression, baby.
Yeah, you understand? Like, it's one of those things where we're more involved in the story. Like, the moves in the matches, I'm almost blind to. I'm seeing where this is going on next. I was kind of surprised because usually a heel would win to sort of drag this on a little bit further, and I think that Priest still has beef with or stuff to do with Balor. I guess this doesn't ultimately end.
I felt that way about this match and Punk and Drew. Right.
So I feel like then the way you go is, I guess this doesn't all end until Damian beats Finn and Rhea gets her championship back, which you got to believe is the end goal, or they're gonna want her back in that position. She makes the company a lot of money. She's incredibly marketable, and I could see them eventually going there. But hey, take your time. This stuff is great. And again, like Dominic Mysterio, you know, like I just say his man's name, and I think you guys understand what I'm trying to say here. Like, he's become also such a natural at this. This was a kid I remember looking at and going, I don't know if I'll ever be into this act. This doesn't make sense to me. He's not even wearing the mask. Like, what are we doing here? And he got his ass beat. He got his ass beat as a babyface. He got his ass beat as a heel.
I'll never get over the mask. I'm sorry.
I'm happy they didn't do it.
I'll never get over it. He's literally Rey Mysterio's son. Literally.
One of the most famous masks in professional wrestling history.
I can't even. That's that's how luchador works. I don't know.
Yeah. And you can only do it once. You can't now.
It's over now. It's over now. What the fuck does it matter if he puts it on now? It's dumb. He got one WrestleMania entrance with it.
Pandora can't get back in the box.
Did you see his answer to the whole mask thing?
I'm sure it's some fucking I did okay. Everything turned out okay anyway. Bullshit.
No. He said he'll wear the mask if Ray comes out, kneels down, admits that he is the greatest Mysterio of all Mysterios, literally takes the mask off of his own head and hands it to him. Then maybe he'll put it on.
That actually would be great.
Yeah, I would dig that if he gained like 50 pounds of muscle and just became like a more big old school luchador with a cape.
They call me
that is
Mysterio.
That is my one. That is probably my one like kind of sort of criticism of Dominic. That dude needs to get in the gym.
Yeah.
How can he? I don't know. Like, how old is he? His fucking body seems to be, it is what it is. Like, it's like I don't know how much larger, somebody like with that stature gets.
Right.
Like,
I mean, you can, but there were ways we won't discuss.
And you'll notice the backney and the aggression.
Oh, he has tops on.
Oh, that's right. He wears the thing. That's right, because he ain't got no damn abs.
Leave Brian Cage alone. But Dominic Mysterio is 27 years old.
27. It ain't gonna be easy molding that 27-year-old body into
especially
something.
when you haven't had to. If I don't need to, no,
I think of there's a dude in the Bronx. I forgot his fucking name. Greg, you'll know who it is. The dude from BWF. He owns it. The owner.
Brian.
Fucking Bronco. Bronco. I think
Bronco
his name was.
International.
Dude, that fucking dude is a wall man. That's the kind of luchador I think of when I think of bulk luchadors, because they all build like that. It's just they're like
gut.
They're like walls with a gut, but if you touch it, it's steel.
Yeah, it's solid. It's a solid gut, but it's a gut.
I just saw a picture of him. This is a very large man.
That's a large man.
That is a big boy.
Yes, it is.
He's fun fact. I went to school with his son. We were very good friends for a long time, and I didn't know that his father was a wrestler, and he never told me. Fuck him. But
that's hilarious.
But Greg, did you have any thoughts on this? George, did you have any final thoughts on this?
I thought it was a fun match. I thought they did a great job. This is one of those things where I go, I'm not gonna sit here and rate like the work weight of it, because everyone is invested, and that's really the point of the job, for people to be invested in what you're doing, and not like, if you did like the coolest DDT of the night or whatever. I was simply just surprised that like it felt like an ending, which was weird to me, because I'm just like, there's got to be a little more to this.
Well,
like, granted, George says like she doesn't have the belt back, so maybe it's not completely over. But getting the pin on Liv felt like an ending.
I think that means Rhea might not be getting that belt back as easily as people think, because she got this win. They got to give her something. It's that kind of situation. Like, we got to give you something because you're not getting the belt back from this. And the Dominic factor, like, I think it was good to have Damian finally get rid of that so that he can,
move over to Finn Balor.
Yeah, focus on Finn Balor and do whatever. I don't know if it's gonna be a stipulation match, but at least a match with them two are the main focus.
Yes,
I would also like to say, in regards to this match, I know you do Jobber and Megastar of the Night. My second runner-up for Megastar of the Night is Carlito, for continuing to be on TV, getting paid, for going out there in, like, I don't know, joggers and a t-shirt.
How did he do that?
I don't even know, bro.
How did he scam his way into the spot?
And he's about to get that video game money.
Yeah, I was sitting there and legitimately trying to remember how he even got in the Judgment Day, and I remember like it got like mushed over with LWO stuff and all kinds of stuff there, and Dragon Lee, and whatever. And now he's just on the Judgment Day. Remember how much crap they gave JD, how much crap they gave R-Truth?
Not Carlito.
He just kept showing up in the clubhouse, and people started questioning it. So
you know what it was?
Second runner up.
Don really likes him just because he beat up Rey Mysterio. Like that it was it. Like, I like this guy.
JD didn't have the end. Truth didn't have the end.
JD had an end. JD was Finn Balor's boy. Yeah. And they were like, dude, he looks like a Funko Pop. We don't want him here, blah, blah, blah. And then
it's jacked up. Apparently, there's room for 2 Irish people, but not 2 Puerto Ricans, and that's not fair.
Damn.
I don't like how that works at all.
3 now. Rhea speaks Spanish.
Hey.
but yeah, no, I had a lot of fun with this peak WWE television. What creature is entering my realm?
Domain.
My realm.
Domicile.
It's the dog. They broke the whole illusion of my background that's actually in front of me.
Oh no.
I can't shoot the show with this in behind me because the computer's in the center. It's very strange.
Right.
Anyway,
I get it.
fair peak WWE television. I had fun. So that was the pay-per-view. And that brings us to, as George so lovely mentioned, our Jobber of the Night segment. Jobber of the Night. Oh man. Can I go first?
By all means, sir.
I think I know.
You are the director.
It's fucked up. It's fucked up because I feel so bad. I'm such a fan.
Do you?
And I do. I am. I'm such a big fan. This shouldn't be this way. And it didn't have to be this way, but bad choices were made. My job of the night is going to be Jade Cargill. Damn, son.
Ooh.
Damn. You know what it is, too? It's
You
hard
show
to,
us you want a title.
it's hard to defend her, too. Everybody's like, oh, she sucks. Everybody's saying she sucks. Like, all these people, you weren't there with me, man. You didn't watch. You weren't with me watching her progress, right? She's not that bad, I swear. You know, like, but it's hard to express this to them when she keeps having subpar WWE performances. Like, shit, this sucks. I hate this.
I guess I wish she would try like less risky or you know
High
I
spot.
guess low percentage things.
Yeah.
Stick to that bicycle kick and throw bitches around. Like
That's a very important rule in Pokemon. If you play competitively, if it's not 100% accuracy, it is 0% accuracy.
I knew only Sis dealt in absolute.
There's no chance. There's no time for chances. God damn it.
The 2 true outcomes.
So George, Jobber of the Night.
My jobber of the night, or shall I say jobbers of the night, are the Unholy Union.
Woo! I didn't even you know how bad it is? I didn't even have a screenshot for them.
See, the Unholy Union. Something happened where, you know, they decided to pair these two together. I think they're both incredibly talented. And Isla Dawn, man, let's call me, please, at any chance at any time. And I kind of dug because Isla Dawn was doing her own thing as this gothic character. Then they had the weird random Pyromania stuff. I thought the witches stuff could have worked, but somehow, some way, when they got to the main roster, they stripped them of that in a bit of a ways and just let them rock regular clothes and do regular interviews. So whatever mystique, manufactured or not, that they did have was taken away. And then you put them in this position here, and they lose. It's always one of those things where like a tag team should be better than 2 single stars, and I get that Bianca and Jade have been tagging for a while, but it's like I think the other 2 kind of are veterans at doing this kind of thing, and yeah, they just were not served best out there, and given that, may not be served again at all. So sorry, girls, and I mean, I guess if it happens internationally for the win and the loss, it just kind of washes out, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, I guess they got the moment in front of their family, which they wouldn't have had otherwise. Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
And they still get paid, so they can still eat. You have
They can still
to,
eat.
after a certain point, you just have to be happy for like minimum things, like you know, they still got a roof over their head. good for them.
Yeah, I want to see some black sludge. Poison somebody.
Yeah, like I saw the tweet earlier, so like I know who ain't happy. That's Tegan Knox.
Oh, that's right. She couldn't even get in the speed tournament. That's
Okay,
gotta be a work, right? Come on, man. That's fucked up.
She got kissed by Dakota Kai, who weighs like 90 pounds less than she does.
Her and Dakota Kai with the bad knees. That's crazy because they were both the angle together.
Yeah.
But Greg, who's your jobber of the night or
He
of the
said,
day?
"You're not."
Oh. Jobber of the day, I guess. It's the fucking 2 o'clock, 5 o'clock over there.
Jobber of the early afternoon.
Nice. It's so hard to pick one that isn't just like from the same exact match because all the other ones were hidden. So I'm gonna be an asshole and say my job of the night is the Miz for riding bitch on another big WWE show.
That's right. He was just chilling on the pre-show, like, "Hey, I don't really wrestle here. You do though." No, I don't. You do though. Understandable. That's a good choice, and I guess it's gonna bring us to our megastar of the night. There he is, Mr. Chin. Ready to?
Oh my God!
Let us know, George. I'll let you go first again, or I guess I didn't. I went first last time. You go first this time.
I was wrestling between two, but because I think one might get brought up, I'm going to go with our boy Dominic Mysterio. What a star! What a man to just walk into a foreign land, enrapture all their fan base, walk out with that smoking hot Liv Morgan,
probably get insulted in languages he doesn't know.
Yeah, get beat up with Rhea Ripley. Like, he has been firing on all cylinders lately, and this is the kind of talent that you want to have on your roster where something is kind of guaranteed. In a world where not everything can be guaranteed, you know that Dominic just hits on all cylinders. But in this moment here, watching him come out with Liv, he walks down the ramp and all he does is raise his arm. He doesn't have a taunt yet. You know what I'm saying? Like that. He doesn't have a catchphrase yet. He doesn't have anything. He doesn't need anything. He doesn't need any other sort of gimmick. And I love that his vest says Sucio on it now. I was like, that's tight.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
I was like, that's tight. The mustache, the mullet.
I know a bunch of Sucios in the Bronx that are going to be real upset.
But yeah, Dom. I'm giving it to Dirty Dom.
Dirty Dom.
Respect. I said it for this year and it didn't work out, so I'm going to say it for next year. Dirty Dom for Money in the Bank.
You know what? That doesn't sound bad. I mean, the only problem with that is that you don't kind of believe he's going to win a world championship. But he's also
he's going to win one in an actual match. So this is the closest.
That's yeah, you're right. That's the best chance he's got to be world champion.
And I feel like the looming threat of a Dominic Mysterio is better TV than most people.
It's so weird because I didn't know. I mean, I didn't give up on him entirely, but I was definitely like, man, they should have sent his ass to NXT. Fuck.
That's what I mean. Like, and that's what I was referring to before. Like, it's one of those things where, like, you can discuss whether or not Dom is like really good at the professional wrestling, but it doesn't matter if people are invested.
He's good. I think he's good. I think he's got the important things down. I mean, because here's the thing, right? Much like all the other art forms, it's a subjective. It's a subjective thing. I like when it's technical. I like when it's more moves based. I like when it's when it's more physical. But also, that's not the only way to tell a story in the ring. I think that Dom went out there with. I think Dom is able to tell his own in-ring stories, not just the stuff that's enhanced with WWE writers and stuff, but like in the ring. I think that's the most important thing above everything. And I think once you got that figured out, that kid's gonna be okay. My thing is like I didn't expect him to get this popular, this successful, this fast. So I don't even know what comes after this. I'm like, should you just keep riding this? Like might as well just stay Judgment Day for the next 4 years? Like,
Right.
I don't know if you should change it. It's working pretty well. I don't know, like, what do you go from here?
It's really cool to see him sort of master this idea that he is a chicken shit heel. He does. You think sometimes that fucks with people's ego. Like, wow, I gotta be running from why I gotta be running from people, and why I always gotta get my ass whooped. But he's never shy of getting his ass whooped. Damien caught him. I think almost every Monday they did something to him leading up to this match. He's not afraid to get his ass whooped.
This is the 4th time he has jumped into the groove.
Right into the choke. That move does not work. He's like Ric Flair with the splash. Just
It's like I'm sorry. It's the on TV version of the Ciampa skit with the RKO. She's like, it's gonna work this time.
It's never gonna work.
So it's super cool to see him get those instincts already, and yeah, I guess the future is bright for him. I don't even know what Judgment you already see. I don't know if I missed this before, but it looks like Judgment Day is getting new graphics. Yes. Overall, when they came out for this, so there might be a rebranding coming very soon for these guys. And I mean, they're more street punk than they are gothic anyway. So maybe they could come up with something a little bit more like the Filthy Animals kind of work. Like they should go in that kind of route.
You just getting more Spanish.
I always thought that the Dom thing would end. When it started with Rhea, I thought it would end with him dumped to the side. Like they were just using him to fuck with Ray. Now with the Liv thing, I thought she was just using him to fuck with Rhea Ripley. I almost wanted to not be that. Like I don't want it to. I wanted to genuinely be like, for some reason, he just can pull these women. Like nobody knows why, but Dom is actually really good with these women. If he ever loses Liv, I need them to pair him with yet another hot woman. This works because
Dominic's gonna be like that WWE character that has this like weird what's his name? What's the rat-faced boy from SNL?
The dude that's with Scarlett Johansson?
No, the one that was with the one that our friend Daniel hates.
Oh no, I don't know. He hates so many people.
That's true. Pete Davidson.
Pete Davidson. Rat face is an interesting description. I thought you'd do the butthole eyes. Everyone does butthole eyes.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I've never heard that one before. Okay, interesting. Okay, yeah, like that weird like rat face charisma where it's just like I don't know how this man seems to get with all these hot women, but Pete Davidson just seems to.
There's only one explanation. We know this as men.
He's funny.
He's got a large dick, Greg.
That's what. I don't know how to.
Funny is the funniest thing, right? They always say that. You should just
know how to translate that Dom is back into WWE TV.
You don't have to. He just has to keep appearing with these hot women. There's only one explanation. It's as long as the mullet
and his Latino heat.
It's back in Latino heat.
Yeah, which women have been obvious. This is that's longevity. That's long-term booking. More than anything, is that Latino heat is is as magnetic as that goozle.
I really wish they went all the way and just named him fucking Dominic Guerrero.
Oh yeah,
it should happen. He should just open Raw one day, finishing off the paperwork for his new legal name, Dominic Guerrero.
Oh no, it should be Dominic Mysterio, the last Guerrero.
Oh my god! I think they both joked about asking their mother, like, did something happen?
I think the Guerreros are really bothered by that.
Oh no, they're just shooting, bro. They're just working, bro.
If it bothers Vicky, then I really want it.
We're just playing, fool. What are you doing?
Mama's waiting.
It's not like Vicky's out here beating the allegations.
Vicky made it worse. She's the reason why they're so fucking funny about this now. Greg, who's your megastar of this evening, afternoonish?
God, it's gotta be fucking hometown guy Gunther for me, I guess. Gunther. Somewhat hometown guy. Michael Cole tried to smooth it over by saying that Germany is his adopted home. Fine, I'll take it. Yeah. Whatever.
Adopted hometown. That means he moved there. That just means he moved there.
That means he's a filthy transplant.
Oh, bro, no. I've heard the line "home continent" before, and I'm like, wow, yeah,
that's great.
Stretching that home thing.
Yeah. That's incredible, actually.
The home hemisphere hero. He's on this side.
No, in fact, I love bringing this up. In the video game, they have the little gimmick where, like, if you put a character in their hometown, you get the welcome home chant from the game. It's a very cool feature.
Why the fuck didn't you tell us that, Greg? Why am I finding this out live on the air? You bastard.
Can you pick a city?
So like you can get that
For your
welcome home
character?
chant. I don't know about the call, but like for most of the characters in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying,
So-
can you pick a city for a show?
When you make it.
Can't.
When you make the show.
If you
Yeah.
make a
like
show,
the
yes, you
universe.
can.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you can pick what cities
Oh,
it goes
The
to.
thing about this damn game is that you can't just download an arena. You got to download the arena and make the show. So when you make
Or
the
you can
show,
just download the show.
or you can download. Somebody makes the show for you.
Yeah.
But you have to edit in the town, or you can make it so that it's internet, so that it can be random towns. It can
Yes.
just be whenever.
Which means it's very easy to just pick all of them.
And so you call in the arena, you tell them you work my show and no other
Yeah.
companies, and then
Yeah.
right? Is
That's
that
how
what-
it goes.
Basically, yeah.
And then we'll feign legal action, even though it's not legally possible to do that, right?
Basically, yeah. So, the fun, it makes me laugh when you picked Clash of the Castle and you put Gunther in it. You get the welcome home chant, and I'm like, it's in fucking Cardiff. What are you talking about?
He lives there now.
You doesn't live in fucking Wales.
So my megastar of the night is gonna be from the same match. It's gonna be
Okay.
Randy. It's gonna be Randy. Look at this motherfucker. He came out
Red
here.
Bottoms?
Came out here, fucking full of Nutella, ready to fucking go.
Red Panty Night in fucking Berlin.
They kept saying this was like, these are the shorts he wore when, like, these are the same color shorts he wore when he won the world title. No, the fuck it
Which
wasn't.
one?
He was wearing salmon. I'll never forget that shit. He was wearing
Which world
salmon.
title?
The first
Oh
one.
yeah, thank
The
you.
one with,
I'm
the
gonna
one
put
with
that in.
Benoit?
Yeah,
He who shall not be named?
yeah,
Yeah.
with Stevie Richards. We pinned Stevie Richards.
Dude, like his gear is similar. I'm like, he's been rocking the same gear for
Right.
20 years. It's just sometimes he smokes before his show, and he's like, maybe the red ones, maybe
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 red.
the
on
whites.
occasion, he might pick a color. But I'm like, no, that's none of that. That way, he wore the pinks that time.
Yeah.
Didn't he try to rock up to WrestleMania with like a snakeskin gimmick?
I've seen, like,
I'm sure he
I've
did some
seen
weird
camo
ones.
possibly for War Games. He had, I think, some camo.
Yeah, well, that's what everyone does, right? You go to War Games with camo on.
I also want to kind of rescind a little bit of my animosity towards the hometown thing. Apparently,
Okay.
Berlin is only 7 hours away from Austria.
Oh,
Oh yeah, it's so
Okay.
close.
that's not bad. Hey, listen,
Too bad.
it's not that bad. I've driven for a long time. And I wouldn't mind driving 7 hours.
Sure. If I came back to wrestling and did a show in Philadelphia, I expect a welcome home chant. Go fuck yourself.
You're in your home continent.
By
Come
the
on.
home coast hero.
You're a home hemisphere hero. That's us, though, man. That's us. That's our Dirt Sheet Radio reunion here on our Bash at Berlin podcast.
All it took was a 1 p.m. PLE.
Well, there's a couple more things we have to talk about before we go. George,
Let's go.
we work together on some stuff that's really cool.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. I do something over at Comic Book Click. Comic Book Click. We try really hard to be the one-stop shop for everything comic book and comic book media. We just covered Trial of Jean Grey with these two gentlemen on the last episode of the Major Issues podcast, which comes out every Thursday. But you can follow us by going to facebook.com/comicbookclick, Instagram at comicbookclick, or use that hashtag comicbookclick to talk about the newest, hottest, latest, and greatest things to come to comic books and comic book media. We're at Major Issues CBC on Twitter and also at Major Issues CBC on Twitch. Hopefully doing some cool things soon. And you guys will all be back here for No Mercy tomorrow, right?
No mercy. Yeah. I won't.
Yeah.
I'll be here. I'll be on the ones and twos in the background. But the NXT
Is it
crew.
another 1 p.m. show?
No, they're in Detroit. It's a regular
Okay.
time. Yeah. The NXT crew will be here covering the show live and possibly the debut of one Julia. I don't know. I heard she's in the. I heard she's in the air
that weird
right
woman
now.
off screen?
The random woman off screen, right? I heard of you. So if you heard of her, Jada, how come she's in a plane right now coming from Japan? What are you talking about? Anyway.
So go to comicbookclick.com because we are the other side of comicbookclick.com. If you've already been going there for the kick-ass breakdowns to Raw, SmackDown, and Dynamite, and occasion Rampage, maybe, we share the other side of the fence over there covering comic books and comic book media, so check us out.
That's right, comicbookclick.com. As we plug every single fucking day. Greg, you're also with us every single Thursday on the DirtSheet Radio flagship.
Yeah, is it a Thursday now? I guess it does count as a Thursday. The days roll together for me.
We only ever get together on Thursday mornings, which is kind of like Wednesday night.
Earliest of mornings.
But similar. So, like I said, the DirtSheet Radio flagship podcast, where we talk the last 7 days of professional wrestling news every single week. Thursday mornings, you're either up overnight at work or you're catching a fucking drive in the morning. Listen to us. We're happy to be there for you. But that's not all. DirtSheet Radio, we provide daily fucking podcasts, literally. On Mondays, we're after Monday Night Raw. On Tuesdays, we come on after NXT. On Wednesdays, we come on after Dynamite. On Thursdays, we come on after Impact. On Fridays, after SmackDown. On Saturdays, these maniacs, CJ and Tyler, they watch NXT Level Up. And they
Saints, because Level Up, man.
That's crazy. They love this, though. They love doing this.
Yeah.
And on Sundays as well, your boys, 3NT Wrestling on DirtSheet Radio live every single week. That's right. DirtSheet Radio is always on. But thank you for joining us. Thank you. I love you all. We'll be here tomorrow night for